Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Storytime with Uncle Monkey. I am your Uncle Monkey, and today's story is called The Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. Once upon a time, a wolf with a beautiful singing voice lived in a deep, dark forest. Every night, atop a cliff, she would proudly sing toward the moon as creatures big and small roamed close by. One night, a prince from a nearby kingdom was drawn to the beautiful singing voice coming from the cliff. But he had no idea that the voice belonged to a wolf. "What stupid prey!" the wolf thought upon seeing the prince. "I'll eat him when I'm finished singing." But when the wolf's song came to an end, the prince applauded her. Bewildered by the prince's reaction, the wolf completely forgot about devouring him. She was deeply moved by his applause. That was the first time she had ever been praised for her singing. The prince returned to the forest each night to hear the wolf's song. The wolf, in turn, would sing and eagerly anticipate the prince's applause afterwards. This continued for several nights. One wintry evening, the wolf sang her song as usual, but after she was done, she didn't hear any applause. She pondered and wondered and glanced down below. The prince was climbing toward her so quickly. Maybe he wanted to see who the singing voice belonged to? "He'll hate me if he sees me," the wolf suddenly panicked. She extended a large paw toward the prince in order to hide her beastly form. But her claws accidentally tore at the prince's eyes. The wolf soon learned that the prince had lost his sight. His parents were ashamed of their blind son and locked him away in the castle tower. The wolf snuck into the tower and lied to the prince that she was a princess from a neighboring kingdom. She told the prince to ask the witch of the forest, who could grant wishes, to heal his eyes. But the wolf couldn't take him from there in her current form, one that only knew how to hurt others. The wolf traveled a great distance to the witch's house and exchanged her singing voice for the ability to transform into a princess. "Beware of the moonlight," the witch warned. "If you fall under it, you will immediately return to your normal wolf form." The wolf returned to the castle tower, where she opened the prince's cell, transformed into the princess, and took the prince's hand in her own. The scared prince weakly grasped her hand and returned. "Let's go," said the princess. "Make sure you stay close to me, okay?" They entered the deadly forest to travel to the witch's house and heal the prince's eyes. And so, the journey of the liar princess and the blind prince began. The princess and the prince walked in the mysterious forest and soon decided to rest in a clearing. The forest was filled with various plants and fruits. The prince ate these fruits for the very first time. "Princess, these are so delicious!" The princess was happy at seeing the prince smile. Many dangerous things were also in the forest. A fanged monster even tried to attack them. "Prince, watch out!" The princess protected the prince, and she transformed into the wolf to brush the monster away. As they continued the journey deep into the forest, they took up shelter from the rain and rode on tree-stumped turtles. Fog settled near the lake in the forest. They dipped their tiny feet in the cold water and relished in the cool feeling. Splash! The princess dove into the water with all of her clothes on and spent some time playing around. They traveled around several more areas of the forest, including one filled with bouncy mushrooms and another with mind-boggling riddles. At one point, they came across a gorgeous field blooming with every flower imaginable. The prince adored the bouquet of flowers the princess gave him. "Even though I gave up my singing voice, I'm glad that I became human." One night, as the princess and the prince got closer to the witch's house, they went into a deep, dark part of the wood. The princess lit a torch and handed it to the prince. who carried it. She found a beautiful flower and she picked it for the prince and she handed it to him. But as she reached for the prince's hand, the moonlight struck her hand and changed it back to normal. The prince remembered the feel of the hand that had blinded him and immediately recognized it. He dropped the torch in his fear and it caused a massive forest fire. The flames eventually reached and consumed most of the witch's collection, the payments of all the wishes she had granted before. Infuriated, the witch transformed into a massive monster and began to rampage through the forest. After saving the prince from the fire, the princess and the prince decide to work together to calm the witch down in order to apologize for what they had done. At last they succeeded, and though she's still furious with them, the witch accepts the princess's request for the prince's eyesight to be restored. "It will cost you. You must give up your singing voice and your memory of the prince." The princess was startled and didn't know what to do. The witch admitted that normally such a price would not be required to heal the prince's eyes, but that the witch needed all the extra power to heal the forest. Despite the prince's attempting to stop the princess from accepting the terms, he is powerless to prevent it, as the princess is permanently turned back into her true form. Sometime after, though now a horrible singer, the wolf continued singing on a cliff to the night sky, until the prince reappeared one night. Having forgotten who he is, the wolf initially attempts to eat him. Before she could do so, the prince gives her a bouquet of flowers. This overwhelms the wolf with feelings of nostalgia and emotion and sorrow. No longer feeling alone, the two sit down next to each other. Despite her lost memories and voice, the wolf enjoys the prince's company and continued singing for him from that point on. The end.